What's the cut for flare duplication in this deck? I NPC ordered this rock
land.
I NPC this rock side deck too late. So what's the freaking cut? Is it Wheel of Misfortune?
You haven't taken a shot yet?
Is it Wheel of Misfortune?
All of this is 100% staying in.
Misfortune's out.
Okay.
It's definitely Wheel of Misfortune, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cut
yeah.
Wheel of Misfortune.
All right.
Crutch.
All right, we live. You good to go?
Well, what about is Ball
Yeah,
ready?
Nope. He ain't ready yet.
Is the group
I thought we were just shooting the shit. My bad.
Put it in, bro.
Oh fuck yeah! Go! Yeah. Do your intro. My bad.
That's good. I'm leaving all this in. Welcome back to Collision. Welcome back to Colors or Crutch. My name is Max Sternberg, also known as Woodlands Satellite. You'll notice that my wonderful father figure is not with us here today. He was a busy motherfucker with the work and the kids and such. So I just decided to get a little squad together. We got Kellen, HebrewHercules, good buddy of mine, another member of the tribe. One of the main Dargo motherfuckers, the Mardu Dargo team. I've played him in many tournaments. We have Pigeon, aka Joseph. He is one of the mods on the Colors or Crutch Discord, a local to me, good friend of mine as well. Down in the corner, we have my baby boy, my sweetie pie, my Manilamidget, my schmoonded schmidget, my schmoonded schmadelite. I love you, buddy. The reason this episode is also happening is because me and Manilamidget recorded an entire episode yesterday for an hour that he fucked up his recording on. So here we are for round 2, baby. And then to finish it up, we got one of the only other guys that I truly can call one of the leaders of Tropical Island. We got LJ. How you doing today, buddy?
What's good?
Yeah. So anyone want to shout out, I don't know, where they can be reached or any of those fun things?
Anywhere. All Discords. Everywhere.
All Discords. Don't worry. Any awkward spaces can be cut out very easily from all of these things.
reach me anywhere?
It's not a big deal.
Manila_midget. Look me up for anything you like.
Anything?
Wonderful.
Coaching? Do you have coaching?
Wait. What do you mean by anything
For a
exactly?
nice
Yeah.
price, we can do anything.
Friends, we can do anything. So yeah, goal for the day is just to talk about what cEDH is up to lately. I mean, one of the conversations is obviously going to have to be Nadu to some extent, and the different things that some people are cooking with. I know me and Pigeon were both at the same locals this last weekend. We both played the identical Nadu list for that event. We built Nadu Control. It was a slower version of Nadu that essentially said, instead of giving my opponents something to point all their interaction at and open up a window for someone else, we said, how about we hold up counterspells for 4 turns and then play Nadu and win in the same turn on like turn 5. And that shit worked really fucking well. I was able to go 5-0 on it. Pigeon didn't have quite as much luck. He had some rough pods there that didn't work out for him as nicely. But what has been everyone's experience playing with and against that deck so far?
It's insane.
Yeah.
Deck is correct. I feel like Nadu is warping the meta in the sense that it's closing windows for turbo decks so much faster because the amount of resources you can get out, it's such a fast pace, just leaves it with like, oh, even as you're saying, a slower version can still get out so many resources and counterspells so fast.
It gets out of control in 2 turns. The value engines, including Commander, but not limited to, just churn more than anything as of recent that's consistent. It's really good.
While it's entering the turbo meta, and I can view that as a very positive thing for Nadu, where Nadu doesn't get as much hate from turbo decks, at the same time from playing the deck, the matchups I'm fucking terrified of are the turbo matchups because they can win before I am properly set up to interact and deal with them.
Yep.
You know, I need the game to go a few turns. So it's a weird double-edged sword there where they are my best matchups for me not being fucked with, but also they are my weakness in that I can't properly deal with them. And that's why I really like the control Nadu, because it hits 2 things really importantly, where, I mean, I'm on like 17 counterspells personally. Like, I'm on a huge interaction package where, I'm fucking deep in it, where the goal is, like, you only keep the best Nadu enablers. You've got your Seeker, you've got your fucking Effetto, Greaves, Shuko, Sea King, Sylvan, which are perfect for the hold-up mana style of the deck. Like, only the best Nadu cards, don't go cheesy with it. Hold up your interaction for several turns, try and survive the early game, have people deal with each other, and then when you play your Nadu, it shouldn't be playing Nadu for generic value. It should be, I'm playing Nadu because I immediately have a maximum efficiency enabler on the board or in my hand ready to go and utilize it right away. And that's where I'm surprised that Wizards did this, because they said they were going to stop doing this after they printed Prosper, where they said, we're not going to make any more fucking commanders that are both mana and card advantage. We're like, that's too busted. We're not going to do that anymore. And 2 colors. And so Nado's just like, yeah, fuck you. The lands are untapped. I draw a bunch of cards. You can kill me. I cycle myself. I don't give a fuck.
See, they said that, but then Hasbro said we need to make some money, so they gotta make money.
I feel like the land's untapped. It means more than we think. Like that's just wild to me that it's untapped. Like if it was tapped, it's still really good, but untapped, holy shit, man! Like just holds it for interaction as well. That's wild. And then Springheart and what's that one with the bestow? Springheart? Right?
Springheart and Tuco. Yeah.
Printed in the same set? Like, what?
They knew what they were doing.
2 mana.
Yeah, exactly. There it is. You should encase your whole deck in those plastic.
I mean, yeah, this deck has got money in it already. I've built Nadu. Like, I fucking have the deck, baby. It's good to go. And I mean, that's the thing, is like, it's also just full of cards that work on multiple roles. Like, it protects itself incredibly well. They've never given us this commander-centric of a deck in terms of one that's like Winota level kill, right? People have talked about Kinnan as being in that same range, but Kinnan doesn't actually need Kinnan, right? Like, Kinnan functions as a deck without Kinnan. Nadu does not really function that significantly as a deck without Nadu. We've never had this Winota style kill on sight style commander that is in blue. That hasn't happened yet. So the fact that it gets counter magic to protect itself is one thing, but then also conveniently, green is the other best color for this, because green is loaded with protection spells that are good, right? You get Veil of Summer and LQR and all of these things that function on multiple roles on multiple axes as well, that especially cards like Veil of Summer also layer really well with your counterspell package. Like, the deck does a lot to protect itself while propelling itself forward in a really unfair way.
I saw an interaction the other day where someone used LQR on one of the tap-untap creatures, and they just wiped the board.
Yes.
I was like, oh my gosh. Like, green was not supposed to be able to do that.
No.
It's not.
The mono green board wipe of LQR and Seeker of Skybreak. like, no one's ready for it, dude.
I think both the untappers, people are learning more about it now, but with Unctus,
draw through your library.
You loot your deck. It's just the entire deck. It's really good. Yeah. We were actually talking about cutting Unctus a little bit.
I brought up to the Discord, they were not a fan of the cutting Unctus plan.
It is a tutorable creature that you can put right into play that does the thing, but it's also sorcery speed, so like, I don't know. If it wasn't sorcery speed, it'd be so much better.
Oh, it'd be unbelievable. It would be absolutely broken. LJ, I know you're a Simic stan. Have you been playing Nadu, or are you still only on Edric?
I've been playing it in 9-9. It's gas. This gas shit.
Okay. What does it do in Edric?
Yeah.
It does regular Nadu stuff. So I only play a Feto and one of the 0 mana equips. One of the 0 equips.
Greaves,
I think it's Greaves. I also play Paradise Mantle, so it kind of layers pretty well. Layers pretty well with the rest of the deck. It's fine. Like, I get to play the game of like, yeah, my Nadu doesn't do anything in my deck. It's just value. But they see a Feto, Greaves, and they're like, oh, this motherfucker lied to us.
I've been seeing a build lately where it's Derevi, and then put Nadu with the 99. Like, that's gonna be,
Oh, that's kind of hot. That's kind of hot. I like that. I like that a lot. That's a double bird wizard.
And get lands, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, just ban good stuff was the last thing.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah, well, I mean, think about it, right? Like, I'm gonna untap my one of my dorks. It triggers Nadu as well as untaps my dork, and then he even plays Delny and stuff, dude. So like, it doubles everything.
Jesus Christ, Delny.
That's disgusting.
Oh, and like, yeah, I'm just gonna draw 8 while untapping my mana. Good luck.
it only gets so. Stop.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's also like when you look at the cards that have been good against Simic style decks in the current meta. One of the best ones over the last year is Bowmasters, right? It hits the dorks, it murders things, it kills our creatures. Bowmasters is great for Nadu. I clone that motherfucker, and you draw an heuristic, and I target my own shit to draw cards. Like, it's so good. It's one of the best cards printed for us now. It's wild. It's like when people play a fucking Lotho and I'm playing on Nixos. I'm like, thank you so much for the access to more targeting.
Yeah. I must say that's an interesting synergy because the whole point of Orcish was to stop card draw and stuff like that. Now it's almost you want to enable it. It's like, oh great, the whole purpose of this card is now kind of off to the side.
It's great. They didn't even make
That's what's fun about Magic, though.
It's not even a draw from Nadu. That's the they decided to do this Wizards thing, which they started with, in my opinion, with like Oko, where they just didn't read the actual card that they wrote out. When like they're like, oh yeah, we'll make it twice for each creature, not just like one thing. Okay. We're going to make it a reveal off the top, and you don't draw, so there's no like backside like negative to it. And we're also just gonna make the lands untap on a 3/4 flyer for 3 mana.
For 3.
Yeah. It's one of the most pushed cards of all time. Like, it has
Absolutely.
to be one of the most pushed cards of all time. And it really, they did take away, like you said, 3 separate safety barriers that would have made it a reasonable card. If they had just made it, whenever a creature is targeted, this triggers twice each turn or whatever. Like, something like that would make sense. You could still blink Nadu and have combos with that Displacer Kid, and that still leaves it accessible, where you can still do cool stuff, but it doesn't work so generically with everything. And then, yeah, the lands could have come into play tapped, and it would have been more similar to, like, a Thrasio style effect, which makes a lot of sense in Simic. And it should have been a card draw, because that that has some issues and that has some limitations. It allows people to have Bowmasters and Narset and Notion Thief and all these various types of effects against you, rather than having absolutely no safety net for this thing at all. You can draw your deck and it doesn't matter. Like,
I think the best point made was that it should have just said spell, not spell or ability. Because spell or ability breaks this card. If you have just spell, you can do Sea Kings and you can do Sylvan Paradise. The rest of it isn't nearly as broken.
You do have to remember that this was a set printed for Modern. And Modern is currently dominated by Orcish Bowmaster. So I do think the spell or ability was a specific point at that and trying to punish how good Bowmasters was.
And now this deck is also super played in Modern.
Conveniently, it is broken in Modern.
It will catch a ban in Modern because of how busted it really is.
It was actually banned today in 1v1 Commander.
Yep.
Shocked.
True.
The
Yeah,
start.
shocker.
We're getting somewhere.
Oh, you have 1 red blast? Okay, I'll just win next turn, sure.
Oh, there's a game I played against Nadu, and Nadu got removed and put into the command zone 2 times in 1 turn. Like, cast, killed, next turn, still won. I was like, okay. Well,
Yeah. So that was actually what happened with my finals game when me and Pigeon were at our event last Saturday, where I just had Nadu on the board. I did not have a single enablement for Nadu in my hand. And then they decided to kill Nadu before my turn cycle. And that revealed draw from the target flipped Greaves. So the next turn I said, okay, cast Nadu?
They're like, then what? You're like,
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, you guys lose the game.
With what you're saying, Hebrew, when we were at Vegas for SCG Con, it was like the last round. I wasn't gonna make it, but we were still playing because it was fun. I got all 3 Pongifies in the same turn. I still recast it every time. I didn't get to cast it the 4th time, but all 3 times I cast it, I got Pongified specifically. It was really funny.
What were you against?
Talion, Kinnan, and some blue weird deck. I don't remember.
Was it Jacob? Were you against the Jacob guy?
No, it was someone else.
Okay. Very fun tangent with the Jacob guy. He was against an Atali round 1 when he was against Sylvan as well. And the guy played turn 1 Atali, and I guess Jacob was playing new 10 mana Ulamog that like exiles people's shit when you cast it. You exile half a library. So he had like a 17 power Annihilator on turn 1 on his Atali board.
And Atali.
It's fucking just so dumb.
It was funny that you mentioned like with Kinnan. When Nadu came out, I played against a local named Brandon Reaper on Discord. He, the moment I saw it, I'm like, this will surpass Kinnan in plays within a week. They're like, no, people don't think so. I'm like, yeah, it will. Yeah, it will. And I think it's easily the strongest Civic deck maybe ever.
Whoa. I, as someone who has played both decks and has won events on both decks, Kinnan is better. Kinnan is a better overall deck. I am extremely confident that Kinnan is a better overall deck. Kinnan is a significantly more flexible deck. Nadu is much more of a one-trick pony. Nadu is better at the Simic Storm and randomly going off on turn 3 and winning the game on turn 3. Absolutely. But I think as a competent pilot who understands how to use the flexibility of Kinnan, which deck do I think I will overall have more success with? I think Kinnan is stronger when you have mastered the deck. I think Nadu is more simple and easy to have success with immediately. But I think when you have
much higher floor.
much higher floor in Nadu. Nadu, I think, is one of the highest floors ever. You could give a monkey that deck and it can win games. Like that deck is simple as fuck. Which is honestly why I'm having fun with it, but I don't think it's something I'm going to enjoy forever because I would like really complex strategies with lots of niche bullshit to do. Nadu isn't that. Nadu is kind of just Simic Storm, see where you go. Do you hit the right cards? Do you go off? It is like, it's very, very stable high floor for what it wants to do, but it is at the same time like easy to deal with where you just kill the Nadu versus a deck like Kinnan where you kill the Kinnan and my deck still functions completely fine. So yes, much higher floor, and I definitely think it will start seeing more overall play than Kinnan. I think Kinnan's definitely on a big downturn, but I have felt like the printing of Nadu was the best thing to happen to Kinnan in a while, because every time I have played Kinnan recently, because of Nadu, everyone is way more afraid of Nadu, and they're just like less focused on my Kinnan, and I could be getting away with way more, and it feels great.
Yep. Especially with how greedy people are right now. Like,
you should go into a tournament and win with Kinnan over Nadu, and name the deck like Kinnan Still Simic King or something of that nature.
Grind 'em into dust is the brand though, bro. Grind 'em into dust is the vibe, which was literally just a sentence I came up with. But
no more dead baby jokes? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that is that's the Nadu deck name. Is 100% will always be a dead baby joke because that's just fucking hilarious. But you know, it's like it gets the job done. But no, I still think Kinnan is the king of Simic. Kinnan I will always stand by as the most flexible deck in the format. And that's why I love it so much, because I think it is the only deck in the format that can truly encompass being a turbo deck, a mid-range deck, and a stacks deck at the same time. I don't think there's a single other deck in the format that can do that. I think the closest you get is like Tameshi, but I think Tameshi misses out on some of the true turbo aspects. Blue Farm is very good at going turbo or control, but not good at being stacks. Like Kinnan is Magda is pivotable, but Magda can't really mid-range well. Magda is very much turbo or stacks. You know what I mean? Kinnan is, I think, the only deck that can really be a proactive turbo deck, a true mid-range deck, or like an actual heavy stacks deck all at the same time. There's just no other deck that's just playing a Trinisphere on turn 1 and winning on turn 2. That doesn't exist in the format outside of Kinnan.
And Magda as well is like talk about die to Bowmasters. Like you throw a
right.
Mayhem Devil out there, Magda's done.
Oh god.
Magda's done. Magda's so done.
More and more recently I've been
Mayhem Devil's been fantastic, but let's transition away from the Bird Wizard. We've talked about Nadu to a good extent here. I do want to go over some Modern Horizons 3 cards. Sean, I know we talked about it yesterday. You have been testing Power Balance. Would you be willing to talk about that again, and then some other people can discuss what they've seen with it, if they've given it a try or played against it at all?
Yeah, of course. I've been trying it in a few decks to try and see where I can think it's going to be best. So what I decided on was not giving it support in terms of like I'm not putting Sensei's Divining Top in a deck. I'm not putting anything else to change the top. So what I did is I stuck it into Blue Farm to test if it's good because the top changes constantly. Obviously, the deck just has nothing but draw engines as well as just Prom every 2. So like I decided to jam it in, test some games with it. See, I've done about I'd say 10 games with it so far. The games that I've been able to get Power Balance out, it's been good. I don't think it's been amazing where I'd say it has to be in every single list. But like, I've been able to flip Smothering Tides. I've been able to stack the top where it has, I could sit on a Mnemonic Betrayal on someone else's turn or something ridiculous like that. I could breach on someone else's turn with top deck tutors. Mystical Tutor and Enlightened Tutor end up being a lot better when you think of it that way. Because I could just wait for someone to cast a 2-drop. I think it has the potential. Everybody already wrote it off saying, yeah, it's okay. I don't think it's going to be a staple by any means. I just think that it has some more interesting potential than people really saw what it does. And that's where I got to it so far. Still testing it some more.
I think it does, especially like you said, the top deck tutors being able to just change or put whatever you want on top, and the spell's already been cast. Like, I'm gonna get this for free. You have to show me a misstep or something, or I'm gonna put this really value or win on the stack right now. That effect is crazy good, but I do think, especially in like Blue Farm or decks that are already really well established, you have to not build around it and just see how it goes with your game plan already. But you could build like some other decks around it, maybe some Izzet deck that's really good at changing the top card. I do think it'll see some play, and if you're saying it's been good, I believe it.
I
I have
wonder
a buddy.
how
I have a
many-
buddy that play. Yeah, my bad. Go ahead.
No, you got.
I have a buddy that plays Elshed. It's gas in that deck.
Wow.
A deck that already wants to manipulate the top card. Yeah, that shit's
Yikes.
it's annoying as fuck. Yeah, he blows us out with that card. It's great. He's also on counterbalance too, so like there's some wild synergies. It's fucking annoying. I love that card.
Yeah, Elsha was, I think, the #1 deck when I saw the card for it. And I was like, this is actually very good here. And this is a deck that actively wants to play Power Balance.
Yeah,
I'm just a hater.
Just-
I don't like Elsha. I'm not gonna keep it. Any other opinions on that?
That's your tie-in right
I'm
there.
thinking of jamming it into Rograk Thrasios. That's the next one I'm gonna try. I think that's a good deck with Thrasios because it's just constantly flipping Thrasios anyway.
And you can abuse that every turn cycle if you keep looking card. You don't know what's on top. Could be a Tali, it could be a kitten. You know, it'd be crazy.
I'm curious whether or not like the power of that card scales with like permanent decks versus spell decks, like where they have valuable spells as opposed to like you said, Smothering Tide. Popping a Smothering Tide off the top would be that's like kind of exactly what you want, right? Or Ristic or something of that nature. But decks that skew more towards permanent creature stuff like that, is that going to make power balance better, or is like Elsha or other, I guess, spell-oriented decks going to be more beneficial for that? What do you think?
Well, like Elsha specifically, right, plays a lot of artifacts, so like flipping a bunch of 2-mana rocks isn't like it's never. It was so like I guess I'll explain it. It was gas in that like it always felt like it was doing something for the guy. So I guess in like Elsha specifically.
Yeah, Elsha's a very specific shell for it. It's kind of an awkward thing where when you look at the way, I mean, the reason that people love Counterbalance as a card is when you don't have to put resource into changing the top of your library. That's when the card is functioning at a high level because the top is constantly changing, it's constantly hitting things. That's when the card is used. So Power Balance naturally should fall into that same play pattern of when it's good. When you're looking at decks that can run it and play mostly permanents, where generically permanents seem like a better thing to hit off of it than spells most of the time, that often means non-blue decks. And that's why people were looking at it for Rakdos decks, your Florians, your Obnixiluses, your such. But we are not as good at effectively changing the top of our library without putting in resource as blue decks, because they have Ristic, Mystic, etc. So that's where it becomes a question when you look at Blue Farm as a deck. If you're looking at Power Balance as a card, and you're looking for a deck that can properly take advantage of Power Balance, Blue Farm is a perfect shell. Where, like you said, Blue Farm has the draw engines, Blue Farm has the top deck tutors, it has lots of permanents it wants to put into play. Like, if you're looking at trying to make Power Balance as good as possible, Blue Farm is a great shell for it. But then you have to ask the question, okay, does Power Balance still fit within the play patterns of what this deck is trying to accomplish? And even though Blue Farm is a really perfect shell for Power Balance to show its strength, Blue Farm is a very opportunistic deck, where while it has these proactive win conditions, its real goal is to play control and draw cards until it's ready to snipe that window that best suits its needs. And I can see issues with Power Balance flipping your breach off the top and making that known information, anything like that. Now you've lost your opportunisticness. Like, you can't necessarily shoot the same window and be as covert in what you're trying to do as sometimes Blue Farm wants to be. So that's one of the concerns with the card, is I think Blue Farm doesn't want to reveal information, and that's a card that's going to reveal information. Elsha doesn't give a fuck, because Elsha gets to already know what's on top before you reveal it, so you know if you want to show him what's there or not.
True.
Yeah, as like I told you yesterday, as a Thrasios player, I'm always prepared for that outcome. No matter what, being the type of player that I've just had to almost reveal every time I want to activate my draw engine, I'm always ready for it. The real top end that I'm looking for is the tutors with Power Balance, so that I can also, it's not born upon a win by any means, but the ability to just throw out a Mnemonic Betrayal off of a mystical tutor whenever I want, something busted like that, absolutely sounds really good on the top end. There's a stack battle and someone throws out a Force of Negation. Oh, Power Balance trigger. I'm going to respond. Back to what you said though, Kellen. I think permanence or, a lot of sorceries. Big sorceries probably is what I'm thinking of. When I'm thinking of things that I really want in like Blue Farm as compared to like Rog Thras, I'm thinking differently, right? A free Eldritch Evolution, a free Transmute Artifact, a free Dockside, is different in that deck as it is in Blue Farm. Blue Farm, I'm thinking, alright, it is a Breach deck as it is. I can get Breach very easily with just a 2-drop, and I don't even have to pay for it. You have to set that up
Free
slightly
Eldritch off the
properly.
top. Oh.
Yes.
The Eldritch is hot.
What I'm seeing is the upside of it in a deck that already tries to force itself into the mid game with a lot of draws. That's why I think I chose Timon and Crom for testing power balance, because I think it could abuse it very well.
You know what deck actually might also really like that as well is Malcolm Tana. I know it's not played as much, but being able to just, hey, World Tutor off the top. Okay, Buccaneer, go to my turn. Like, oh, shit. Yeah, that's the thing.
I think 2, 3, and even maybe 4 is where you're going to get the best numbers for power balance.
Yep.
Yeah, because I guess 1 mana is mostly the interaction number. That's not as much on the permanent things you want to hit.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a card better without the Luden. Maybe this is a card where a deck where you want to play like Rule, like Atali. I don't think Atali really wants this, but
Right, but then how are you changing the top effectively? That's
Exactly.
the problem if you're lacking blue.
then at the same time you lack the blue to change top, but you also hit a lot of counter spells, which can be really beneficial. So I don't know. Anybody going to Cowtown who's ready and been practicing? And
I was about to say, like, we all know Max is going. Like, why are we even questioning here?
what decks you guys bringing? You guys thinking about?
I only bring one deck, so we already know what I'm bringing.
Yo, I'm pretty sure you said Roxai is sleeved up, my guy. So
Look, just because it's sleeved up doesn't mean it's gonna be played.
it stays in the
Somebody was
closet.
asking for brewing opinions before we started recording.
Right?
No, we were recording. We were recording.
Yeah,
That's
oh,
all
yeah.
recorded, 100%.
Oh yeah.
Now the world knows.
Nah, the deck, dude. I literally said, I was like, all right, guys, let's all be quiet. I'm gonna start the recording. The second it hits go, he just goes, so how about flare duplication? What am I cutting?
No,
No,
I
I was
know
just
I have a
looking
lot
for-
of locals
go
going. Like a lot of locals are going.
Are you not going to Cowtown, Kellen?
No, I'm having a baby in about 48 hours.
Oh my
so-
gosh.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
Congratulations!
Congrats,
That's fucking
bro.
sick, dude.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah.
Do you know the name and gender?
Yes, it's a girl. Her name's Eliana.
Oh.
Yep. And she's already a Mardu player, so. Like I said.
I'll see you in 13 years at the bat mitzvah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Takes
Oh,
precedent, I hope.
Congratulations. Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
You're gonna have a great time, man. It's a great experience. Let me tell you.
Terrified, but I hope so.
Oh yeah. It's good.
Is it first kid?
Yep.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How the fuck you
So-
keeping it together right now? Good job, bro. Good job.
Well, being on summer as a teacher makes it easy.
That's fair.
So I'll be with her for about a month before I have to go back. So
Okay.
Thanks.
yeah.
Wait, what do you teach?
I teach math.
Oh shit! Wait, for
Yeah, I
real?
teach high school math. Yeah.
Okay. That would not have been my first guess. I mean,
No?
honest. No.
No, I put stuff on the board like so. Look, if your Dargo count is now 5 sacks,
Yeah.
and exponentially grows, now Screw Swarm is exponential growth. Let me show you the graph on that too. They're like, what?
Yeah.
Never mind. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Don't worry
Yeah, you got to pull up the Kinnan primer, show them the 5x
Yeah.
plus 1 line. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
They're like solve, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
The Imp Recruiter at Dockside.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Your hand has a Tezzeret, a Moon Silver Key. There's a Grafdigger's Cage on board. You have 78 cards in library. You have access to 1 Seedborn Muse, and you're wondering will untap and draw 4 cards. Can you win the game in instant speed? You know.
Like,
math.
what does this have to do with the area of a square? It all makes sense. I promise. I promise.
Swear to God.
Swear to
The
God,
wrong
it does.
sides you're playing against all have Fluster Store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. That is correct.
Oh.
Yeah. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Bill, are you going to Cowtown?
I'm not. I can't unfortunately afford it. End of the year, I'm gonna hope to hit up the Invitational. However, I
Yeah.
hope to see all of you there. I hope I'm gonna
Good
be
lad.
able to make it and get enough points too. But I've been loving my locals. My locals have been so much like fun. They've been really cool, and we have enough people to make good support for like once a month. We do an event for a dual land, or like I just won a cradle on Saturday. Like
Very nice.
we have
Fuck
really
yeah.
cool events that are, like, awesome. So
That's actually a question I wanted for you guys, because I think we all live in different parts of the country. How has Top Deck as a system, like points, being like a ranking system, how has that changed participation and level of play in your local metas?
When they first started the Top Deck series, it was living in Ohio, and some of those events counted for Top Deck points, some didn't. With the way that meta was already developed, it was the same guys going to the cEDH events every weekend anyway. I don't think any new people really joined in, so that one wasn't developed by Top Deck. But I did notice a difference when I came to Colorado, and we did get some of like the gold events or like larger silver events happening at some of the local stores, and those did pull people from farther away to some extent, specifically because they involved Top Deck, I believe.
Yeah. More accessible, more knowledgeable. Like people can be like, hey, come to this thing and have like a really easy link. I feel like a little before, like when I was starting new, it was kind of hard. There's like, oh, maybe there's a Facebook post for this event, and I was like, that doesn't. I don't really care or know about that. 10 people will show up, whatever. I think it's been beneficial, especially recently, and we've seen the shift from like online a lot to a lot in person, which is I think a good direction to move now that COVID's dying off.
Yeah, it took a bit for my local meta, especially like the LGSs, to get on board with it, because I don't know what it is about here, but they just detest proxies. Like, it's actually ridiculous. Like, so like getting a TO, a local store, to like be on board with this. But once they did get on board, they were like, oh wow, you get 40 plus people per event. This is great. I'm like, make fucking money. I don't know. Like, I don't know why they don't like making money around here, but you know, whatever. Like,
I mean, it's also when your events are proxy friendly and you get a bunch of cEDH players in the store, we're all squirrel brained motherfuckers. Like, if you have a foil force wheel in your case, we're the people that's gonna buy it.
Exactly.
Like, we're the guys that are gonna spend that money on shit. You know what I mean? There's a reason Kinnan's foiled out. Like, I like it. like
shiny objects.
I like shiny objects, dude. We're the ones that are buying like the fucking dual lands and shit. Like, the legacy players aren't coming in for your goddamn local Pioneer event, but your cEDH players, we need those cards. You know, you get us in for an event, suddenly we win some money, suddenly we buy a Tiger with that money. You've made all your money back anyway.
Yeah, but once they got on board, they've been amazing. Like, we have some pretty good TOs out here now, and it's amazing people. It's great.
Where's here?
Tennessee.
Okay, what part?
But mostly Middle Tennessee, but we have a pretty good local scene around here. We have Eric Taylor, the Coral guy. He's out here killing us. I hate it. I hate playing against him because we're.
How far away are you from like TK and Arctics and those guys?
Not about a couple hours.
Okay.
I was about to say. I mean, so I can throw out some names out here that you probably know. Game Cave, Game Night.
Yeah,
all those.
yeah.
Like, I think we have a really good local scene in Middle Tennessee.
Yeah,
and like people are starting to come in from Chattanooga, Knoxville, Alabama, Atlanta. Like, for even just a simple like, hey, it's a monthly thing at the Game Cave, and I've seen people from like 3 hours away. I'm like, whoa, that's great, and that's all for Top Deck stuff.
Oh, are you Tennessee as well?
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh shit!
I actually live in the same city as Eric.
I didn't know Jews existed there. Okay.
We don't talk about it much. We don't advertise it. It's on the DL, but like.
I thought we weren't allowed in that part of the country.
Bro, actually, I just found a place with like some bomb falafel, like really good really good falafel. It's like
don't fuck
$1
with me.
for 4. Yeah, dude.
Don't fuck with me. I like him. I'm still yet to have good falafel in the United States. It shit just hits different in the Middle East. Have you been to the Middle East, my guy? Like, that shit hits different.
Have you also been to Miami, Florida, dude? That's literally like mini Israel down there, bro.
I know. You next time I'm in Florida, you got to take me to the spots.
My grandparents, friends, they move straight from the homeland right down to Miami. It's like a direct line or something. I don't know.
Sean has claimed that the shawarma down in Florida is equivalent to Middle East shawarma, which I'm gonna need him to back that shit up.
That's a bold claim. That's a bold claim.
They claim that, there's Little Italy up in New York. There's Little Israel in Miami.
Little Tel Aviv.
I mean, with the humidity of Florida, I can tell you the Schwetzen for sure. You know what I mean?
certainly not the same schmetzing up in Israel. It's a dry heat in Israel. The sea
All right,
in Florida,
Pigeon.
though,
Yeah.
absolutely.
How's Chaos doing?
We don't have to.
Give us some updates on your place of employment. What's going on? Are there any events anymore? Are there any events?
Supposedly we're doing Treasure Series only now. I think that's a good
Okay.
direction to take.
I mean, even at the time, right? Like having 4 events a month,
One every Saturday.
one every Saturday. I was like, man, either you're paying these people extremely well, or or like you just have the most amazing volunteers in the world. Which
It was nice.
it was the latter, the most amazing volunteers in the world. That shit was wild.
I mean, when it was firing at 80 to 100 people at a minimum, it was reasonable because
right.
you're committing 14 hours of your day, but you're still getting, when you top 4, I was making a few $100. It was nice. You win the event, you get $500. For Mythic Lotus, you do even better. Like they
It's
were
a good
very
placement.
reasonable prize pools. You got top deck points because they were above 60 people. Like there was value to entering the event, and then I mean, partially it was the growth of local metas and the local scenes that led to the downfall of the online meta, paired with some issues with how some things were handled, which could have been handled better, which created a little bit of distrust in the system, which I hope everyone can move past. I would love for the online meta to come back in Swarm. That's where I got started with cEDH. It's how I originally got connected to literally every single one of you that's on this call. That's how I met you guys. So it's definitely something I care about and I'm passionate about. I would love for it to come back, but we do need to do it the right way. And I do think that having less total online events, so it's more so something people can look forward to, would be a really good plan of action. That's definitely something I'm pro.
Yep.
I look
Yeah,
forward
just
to
basic
the
marketing.
day.
Oversaturation of a market it will lead to
We need
not
to
people not
cool down.
participating.
Okay,
Yeah.
math teacher.
Eh.
I mean, I liked it. I liked it.
many.
I enjoyed it because it was like, oh, cool. I could pick a Saturday to actually just play an event and it'll be worth something. It was. I thought it was great. It was, especially once Box Masters stopped being in the scene. It definitely like fucking plummeted, and I was like, oh god,
Yeah.
like that was rough. Yeah.
Well,
Don't
Mox
community
Masters was the
built
biggest
it.
one.
Right?
It was
Yeah.
140 person capped every single time. Like Chaos never. I don't think a single Chaos event I ever saw capped. It never reached the maximum people they were willing to accept. Every single Mox Masters capped. Every single one. And that was a big difference. And I am still sad that my last ever Mox Masters was when I jokingly played Roxai. So
Still top.
but like, you know what I mean? I reverse Thorkel in the top 16, baby.
Not forget that.
4th seat, turn 3, reverse Thorkel.
No one forgets that.
Yeah,
If that
that's
happens to you,
why
you're like, oh, okay.
No one had shit except Najila having a fucking dress down, bro. What am I supposed to do? Don't worry, I've had sketchier top 16 games.
I believe it. Ours was-
Kellen, don't worry, I won't bring up the silence. Don't worry, I won't bring up the silence.
Hey, I still stand by it. Like, if I were in your shoes, I would have said the exact same shit and
For
the
sure.
exact same thing. And it's just disappointing to see, like, well, I'll silence you. Yeah, I get it. Sure. And then on your turn, land pass. Oh,
Yeah, which I mean, he did show me his hand after the game. I don't know if you stuck around for it. We don't need to delve into this. Don't worry. But he had 3 counter spells, and I guess it was like he had access to Time Sieve. Most of his counter magic was free. So his thought process was, if I untap, I draw a land. I get access to Tibet. I can like try and go for something here. Obviously, super low odds, but he had a thought process with it. Our top 16 game at what was it? Was it the Top Deck Expo when I fucking mulled the 4 and got the double Wish Claw? Oh,
Yeah.
What a shame. What a shame.
Yeah.
That one I stand by. You guys should have killed the fuck out of Ori. Oh my god.
yeah. Well, I was trying to remember. I think the only thing I would have done differently in that game is not use the Orm Chant so willy-nilly.
Yes, because that was why I Mind Break Trapped. It was
Yeah.
exactly because you Orms chanted. If you
Yeah.
didn't Orms chant, I don't Mind Break Trap there.
God, that card I'm so close to cutting too. Oof. Like,
Orms chant?
yeah, targeted
I
silence
mean-
is kind of rough.
I still
it's
think it's
better.
pretty good.
I think
I
it's
like it a
sometimes
lot.
better.
Yeah.
Like if
I-
you stop this guy from interacting and then the other person can back you up, like
It's also sneakily fucking hilarious anti-Najila
Kicker?
tech.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
like, It's like how Sea King's Blessing and Sylvan Paradise dunk on Sisay. Like, Orm's Chant is just weirdly specifically good against Najila, where like, oh, they play Derevi, and you go to combat, you say, great, Orm's Chant kicked. Like, what are you gonna do? Yeah.
Here's the thing. What do you mean kicked? Read the card. Read the card. Mark the card. It's fine.
It does
It's fine.
something else? What?
Yeah, Orm's Chant has another ability. Now it's in Modern. Orm's Chant's Modern legal now.
Really?
Yeah, they
'cause
put
they
it in
printed
Modern
it,
Horizons.
yeah.
They put it in Modern Horizons 3, dude.
That's right.
Target player. I choose you.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, that would actually be a really good altar for Orm's Chant, like a Pokemon style I choose you Orm's Chant altar. That'd be really good. That'd be really good. That'd be really good.
No, but Noah's not for it. Nope.
No.
You don't like it? You're not a Pokemon fan?
I love Pokemon. I think this is a ridiculous conversation.
I don't know what you want us to do here, bro.
I'm not
You think I'm in charge
I
of
don't
these
agree.
things?
I'm shaking like, oh my god, we're really talking about this.
I mean, look, we went from, power balance to shawarma to Pokemon. We're hitting all the hits, right?
The point of this episode was to have the substance of randomness, And we're hitting the mark of what that goal is, where I had to make a plan in 20 minutes, and I created a collection of people to execute that plan. And now all of our wonderful listeners get to listen to this. And I promise in the future I will have better planned episodes. This is one that we're just fucking
Next
sending.
time I will not mess up the recording, I promise.
Yeah, it's all on you, Noah. This is all you do.
It honestly kind of is.
Blame. Now let's talk about shifting woodlands.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about shifting woodlands. We talked about this a lot yesterday. Give us your takes, Shawnee boy. Give us your takes.
Oh, this card's ripped. Absolutely disgusting. Another one that Wizards really just said, yeah, we're just not going to leave the restrictions. We're not going to make it sorcery speed activatable. We're going to make it so that you can tap it for its own ability. You don't have to tap to activate the ability. And yeah, we're just going to make something absolutely ridiculous, which gives you an instant speed breach if you can, enable Delirium, which, oh, that's crazy. I have a Lion's Eye Diamond on the field. I'm just going to sacrifice that, tap my Woodlands. I'm going to pitch Breach 3 other types, and guess what? You can't really counter my Breach.
It's on the field already.
I was just talking to my buddy who's playing Dargo Thrasios, and I told him, like, dude, sack Dargo to Greater Good, pitch your Breach, done?
Yeah.
He's like, I guess that's okay. I'm like, you guess that's okay. I'm sorry.
But also, you can turn Shifting Woodlands into a Greater Good. Like, that's an option now. So many things in Dargo Thras, like, when you have your Tide Spout in hand, is it something you're willing to discard? And normally the answer is yes, but now you haven't truly lost access to that Tide Spout in the same way. It's not like, oh, I turn a Witness it back and I pay 8 mana for it. It's, oh, I pay 4 mana and I have a Tide Spout now. It works so well in that deck. And you have to consider, like, Dargo Thrasios as a deck, Dargo sacks artifacts and creatures, you fetch a land, you play any counterspell, you have Delirium. Like, Dargo is a deck that inherently has Delirium, has the LED synergies of Breach, has a ton of other really powerful targets for it. I think Dargo Thras is one of the best decks for Shifting Woodlands. I think that Dargo decks in general get an advantage on them. I think Jund Dargo is also a top tier one for it. I think Korvald is an excellent shell for it as well, just getting lots of random shit sacked into the graveyard. When you're looking at Shifting Woodlands as a card, there's 2 things you need to consider when you're thinking about playing it. 1, forest count / accessibility of forests. Will the land be coming into play untapped a vast majority of the time? And if the answer is yes to that, then you're only limited by color identity fixing as your if it's worth playing, right? You care less about the Delirium as long as you know the card is consistently going to be untapped because that it's very low opportunity cost. The issue is when you get to decks like Kinnan, which I'm going to use as the example here, where Kinnan is a deck that actually doesn't play that many forests, doesn't play that many fetch lands, so it's a concern that the card is regularly going to be tapped, not untapped. And then additionally, there are decks that just struggle to get Delirium. And it's totally fine to have late game resiliency, but if the land is going to be coming in tapped, then you have like an enormous opportunity cost, where then paired with a deck like Kinnan that also very rarely has Delirium, it doesn't actually do anything. Versus Dargo Thras, you get Delirium super easily, and you play a shitload of fetch lands to get a forest.
It's the biggest thing is that the permanents in Dargo Thrasios are insanely crucial to winning the game. And something that, if I'm just going to play a Breach out and you're going to counter it, I don't care. I'm just going to then, activate the land and turn it into the thing you're going to counter. I'm going to put a Song of Creation out, on turn 3. You're going to counter it? Okay, turn 4, I just can play this land that will enter untapped because, big thing that we do and that I preach is getting in a forest first, because the forests are crucial in that deck. So most times we're going to see it untapped. So it's just going to be something that is like breaking open the mid game in a portion of the game where people don't really interact, because not a lot of graveyard hates specific for target. We talked about this being very niche with Magda runs the I believe it's unlicensed hearse. We see mostly graveyard hate with stuff coming back like Grafdigger's Cage, the Weathered Runestone. We don't see a lot of stuff that exiles graveyards or targeted graveyard removal, which is huge with specifically this card.
Yeah, the most commonly played card in cEDH that I think specifically affects Shifting Woodlands is Endurance.
Correct.
And I think that's about
I
it.
think people don't play it a lot anymore.
They should. I love
What's-
Endurance.
What's the joke though? If you run Endurance, you're not winning the game if you cast it.
Have you
Never
seen?
win.
Do you know what I keep in my wallet at all times?
Money?
No, I wish. No, actually, Memo gave this to me at Punt City. I keep this in my wallet at all times. Where?
Oh, that's great.
I'm ready to go, bro. I'm always ready to. It's the under the table endurance,
Yeah. Yeah, I think Shifting Woodlands, honestly, might be one of the best utility lands to come out in a long time. Like, I think it should go in a lot of decks. Especially with the permanent, like you said, permanent-oriented decks. So good.
Yes.
Yeah, Roggrass probably plays it as well.
Would assume so.
I would imagine teamer decks in general do super well with Shifting Woodlands. Like, that's got to be the perfect shell. And then you get some, I guess, 4-color decks, maybe like the Sands White Yidris Ikra Crom could potentially utilize it.
Yeah, I think Jund and Teamer have a very good jump on specifically this card. Jund just does a lot of things that require sacking anyway, especially, in Corvold and Dargo Ikra, or Dargo Rayhan, however you want to play it. Other Jund piles maybe are going to be a little bit more limited to it, but Delirium should be easily attainable in just about every Jund variant.
I got a good one for you. This is one that might just be too limited by color identity, but it does a lot for the deck. What's your thought of Najila running a Shifting Woodlands? Gets back Derevi, gets back Grim Hireling, gets back Breach.
I think there's an issue with the double green hit, honestly. The deck wants rainbows, but it might actually be too much to have just a green land in the deck.
That's fair. Probably similar for Sisay.
I was just about to say,
some of the
Sisay
cards,
might be
yeah.
another one that I would
The
like.
land base is so crucial in Najila that I think actually taking even one thing out might be a mistake.
Is the Jilla on crop rot these days? I don't think so, right? So you can't even tutor the card. You have to, I can de-tutor the card. It's kind of rough.
We were not de-tutoring the land.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, so that's already
Greenland.
Yeah, right. That's already rough.
Are you running crop rotation in Dargo Thrasios for this? Have you started to build around it to some extent?
Some people have started with intuition. I think I'm going to try and I really have to sit and jam somewhere to put in crop rot again. It's going to be tough because I don't know how much I really want for support of this, because while it's really good, I want high value things when I draw off the top with either Thrasios or just drawing. If you're just drawing a crop rot and I don't have this stuff in place for it, because I truly believe it is a mid-range card per se, it's not going to be turn 2 I'm copying a breach into my graveyard and winning. So I don't know if I really want to give so much support to it. I think it's just a good card on its own. However, there are some people that really do like the idea of stuff like intuition, making intuition piles which you can secure essentially which card you want. So the way that it was thought up in the Dargo community is you intuition on the end step before your turn. It's Noxious Revival, whatever permanent, let's say for ease sake, we're going to say it's Greater Good, and the Shifting Woodlands. So if they give you Greater Good, they're giving you what you're tutoring for. If they give you the Woodlands, they're just giving you the Woodlands. If they give you Noxious Revival, you're just going to put the Woodlands on top.
Oh, you put Woodlands on top. That's smart.
And they can't counter it.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah,
harder to
that's super
respond
smart.
to the act.
It's technically less mana intensive too. That's interesting.
So
Yep.
That's
It's the same amount of mana. You just have to play a land for it.
No, because Shifting
No, you're
Woodlands.
playing Shifting Woodlands.
Shifting Woodlands pays
tap
for
more lands.
which I guess that is
Yeah.
the same. The
I
same
mean, it's
total
green,
mana
green,
cost,
colorless,
yeah.
colorless. It's the same.
Yeah, it is kind of the same mana cost. But I guess that's also a very interesting little synergy with
much
Thrasios
less
there, where
interactive.
most of
Yes,
the time
exactly.
Thrasios puts your lands in a play tapped, which makes them not usable, but immediately Shifting Woodlands can become something. So even if you
Yeah.
just have a Breach and a counterspell in your graveyard and you're going around with Seaborn,
That's wild.
okay, my Thrasios activation put Shifting Woodlands in play. I would like to make it a Breach,
Back to what
and then
I
I'm
said
going
at the
to
beginning.
Mind Break Trap your bullshit.
Oh, ridiculous that they didn't say it has to be sorcery speed.
Yeah,
That's absolutely ridiculous that they made it instant speed.
What's the synergy between like because Underworld Breach has sack it at the end of the turn, and then Shifting Woodlands also till the end of turn, right? Do you
Yeah.
have to sack Shifting Woodlands?
Yes,
If you time
it will
right,
become an Underworld Breach.
Yeah, you can time it right technically because with the trigger, there's a trigger to sack it. If you copy it at that point, like afterwards, it goes until the next end.
Oh.
Yes, well, so Shifting Woodlands is until end of turn. It's a copy. So what you could do
Oh, that's
is right. So what you could do is in someone's end step. Like let's say you had Born in your graveyard. In someone's end step, you could turn Shifting Woodlands into Breach. Which I guess actually, let's not say you have Born. Let's just say that you want to cast a removal spell in your graveyard, or want to utilize some card in your graveyard in some way. You want to blow up a Ristic with a Red Blast. In the end step before whatever turn, you could turn Shifting Woodlands into a Breach, Red Blast the Ristic Study, and then it would just turn back into a Shifting Woodlands at the end of turn.
Right, so you don't have to sack it, even if it was
no,
an
you
Underworld
wouldn't
Breach.
have to sack it.
Well, you would if you did it during their main phase, because then it is an Underworld Breach when it went to end step, and the trigger for at beginning of end step sacrifice would happen.
That's wild.
But it ends it.
That's so wild.
A lot
Yeah.
of
Card's crazy. I wish it was better in Kinnan.
this card is
Yeah, that's all you
the
need
most
is more
exciting
Kinnan
thing I've
cards,
seen
right?
for green and white.
I've I have had one new card put into Kinnan in 7 months.
yeah,
Nothing has
Image
been good
3.
enough.
MH3 card.
Yeah, it's Sink into Stupor. Like that's the only card that's been good enough for Kinnan in 7 months.
it's
Deck is tight.
it's a struggle for green. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, even 6. Like, 6 is close, but Resiliency isn't really where the deck struggles. You know, 6 has been a great card for Corvold and a bunch of other decks, and it allows so much awesome resiliency. It's an incredible card. Like, 6 is great, and some people are definitely trying it in Kinnan, but again, it's like, I'm not planning on my Basalt being countered and needing to get it back. I'm planning on winning the game. You know what I mean? I'm not going to just, like, throw it out there because I know I have a 6 in my deck and I can get back later. I want to play cards that do things for me immediately, shut down my opponents, and then allow my win attempts to push through. Not like keep trying for the same thing over and over again. That's not interactive and playing control. What's everybody cooking? Anyone working on anything spicy?
Oh, there's a new deck that got revealed. It's like Magda, but it's Grixis. I don't remember the name. It says when
Oh.
vehicles you control hit players. I believe you draw or mill, and then also at your end step, something about the amount of creatures you make treasure tokens. So
They
it's
come in
2
play
in
taps,
Grixis.
right?
I don't think they do come in tapped. I might be
No,
wrong.
I saw
I
that
didn't pull
someone
it
was
up.
saying it combos with Time Sieve. It doesn't
Yes, it
combo.
does.
It's not Magda. It's more of a Time Sieve Grixis deck.
It's Grixis Mag. It makes treasures. Let me be. Let's see though.
Is it cheating a portal to Phyrexian to play?
When it gets Magna,
With enough treasures.
Yeah.
Treasures.
it just
It
has
has
to get Magna.
Yeah, you just gotta play Magda, then you can. Yeah.
Yeah, I can get a Broodlord into play. Okay.
Secret Commander Magda.
Yeah. It's Grixis. I need to find it. Damn it.
Yeah, I'm looking for it
Spoilers.
right now. I'm not.
Last
I-
night-
Okay, I
know what
found
you're
it.
talking about.
It is called
I finally
Edward
sat down and
Kenway.
brewed it all.
Alright, read us Edward Kenway.
So it's 2 in Grixis. Legendary Human Assassin Pirate. Beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each tapped assassin, pirate, or vehicle you control. Or vehicle you control. So the treasures aren't tapped, but the things have to be tapped. Whenever a vehicle you control deals combat damage to a player, look at the top card of that player's library. Then exile it face down. You can play it for as long as it's exiled. It is a 5/5.
I see. So you're just gonna essentially crew a bunch of like stuff, making enough treasures to time save.
That seems like so many steps.
Okay.
It's like
But it's
5
also
treasures.
Grixis. But it's
Five
also
CNC
Grixis.
commanders.
Yeah,
Looks like Crom. I don't think that's an
Yeah.
issue though.
Yeah,
Krom Tevesh is a deck. Krom Tevesh is a deck.
Right, because it draws cards immediately. Yeah.
This makes a lot of mana.
And it draws cards without putting additional resource into it. Yeah, but also Grixis is fine on mana, right? Like it's ritual and dockside deck. What you need isn't more mana in your command zone. What you want is card advantage, because that card advantage parlays you into proactive victories, which is where Grixis' strengths are. Proactive victories.
And I can steal other people's win cards.
You know, like if someone reveals a hand with 10 mana in it, I'm way less, or I don't know. If someone is, how do I put this? Like a Grixis deck that's putting a dockside in the stack without cards versus a Grixis deck that's putting a wheel on the stack without mana. Which one are you actually more afraid of? You know, the wheel is more terrifying because they can turn those. The Nadu, yeah.
The Nadu in the pod. That's just unrelated.
Yeah. It's so funny having like just played Nadu and then watching that new Play to Win video with Nadu. I don't know if you guys saw that, where he's like, "I could have killed the Nadu, but I thought, why not?" And then it's just like
immediately wins.
Yeah. No, it's so stupid.
I have been dabbling with Krark Thrashers lately.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It's a hot.
Yeah.
It's talking about shifting woodlands.
Is that that's a good shifting woodlands deck?
Oh yeah, like roaming throne in the grave or like variant in the grave. Just
no,
cast.
roaming throne doesn't enter though.
Yeah, it doesn't enter and choose a creature type in that world.
Then just variant, then harmonic prodigy, stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And I'm thinking about putting possibility storm in the deck.
Okay.
Why
do you hate yourself?
Well, we've gone over heritage.
That's true. That's true. Oh my God, though, but like the amount of time a turn with possibility storm and Krark triggers would take is miserable. Like that's no longer not a good time. That's type 3 fun. It's not fun now and not fun later. Like you don't look back on that with a smile. You go. I won because they conceded, not because I actually won the game. You know.
This sounds like what people are complaining about Nadu, but worse.
Yeah.
Just extra steps is all it is.
Like
there's a lot of extra steps.
A lot.
Krark decks can be fucking miserable. Is it actually?
Oh yeah. Because you have the Flux card, Essence Flux, and Dualcaster Mage.
Yeah.
And you go Dualcaster Mage, Essence Flux, target Dualcaster Mage. Deck.
Enters back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're forever making copies, so then you can just make copies of
You draw your deck.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you can end the loop whenever you want. That's kind of nice.
And you don't draw.
Okay, it's kind of hot.
It's very interesting.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you guys seen much of the MDFC lands besides Sink into Stupor?
Yep.
Yeah, we discussed
the green fight one seems pretty good.
Which one?
The green fight. The Song of Freyalise as well, but the fight one seems just not terrible. It's 3 mana, but
it's the Gruul one, right?
No, the Gruul one is also a fight one, I believe. But there's a mono green one that's like +2/+2, and it may fight something for 3 mana.
Yeah.
Is the other green one, which like Incredibles for Savala, you know, the mono green Savala stands out there. We'll continue to rejoice at how many cards they got from this set. But outside of that, like, who the fuck's playing that shit? Maybe a Tali? Like,
same thing with the Freya.
It's an MDFC land. I don't know. Certain decks.
Yeah. The other green MDFC, that making it 6 mana and 3 pips was a fucking crime. I don't know why they thought that was going to be good enough or see any amount of play when they're giving blue bullshit like shifting, like Sink into Stupor and fucking Hydroelectric Specimen. Yeah. Like blue gets 2 like pushed playable ones and every other color just gets fucked.
I mean, are we shocked by that, Wizards?
I don't mind it, but like it's frustrating. It does feel unfair to the color pie to some extent that like everything blue gets. Like whenever you look at any cycle of cards, right? Is blue's always the best one? No, it's not always the best one. It's usually the best one. But even when it's not the best one, it's always one of the best ones, right? Like Besaiju's the best one, but Ottawa is still really fucking good. You know what I mean? When in any cycle of blue cards, the blue one is always fucking reasonable. Like Flare of Duplication is the best Flare. Flare of Denial is the next best Flare. You know what I mean? Blue is either 1 or 2, like every fucking time. It is kind of ridiculous how pushed it is, and it's reflected. Where like if you go to each top 16, you look at the top 20 decks, 15 of the top 20 are blue, right? Like there's a clear consistency there in color identity that's pushed.
I would agree.
Who would have guessed draw engines are good?
Yeah, Dronjins tend to be very, very powerful. Though, hey, I'm back on the Schlobby Dobby grind a little bit. I'm having a lot of fun with that deck again. I love it. I love that deck, dude. There's something about everyone playing a Ristic and a Mystic, and me playing a little 1-mana Edric Parasite that they all start freaking out about. And then I go to my turn, and as I cast my spells that they need to draw cards to find answers to, them drawing cards finds me more cards that they now need to find answers to. And I get to storm off through all of their counter magic and draw engines to win the game. It brings me a special kind of joy.
Yeah.
Honestly, playing against Ob it's really fun because you're seeing what they're flipping, and you get to kind of go through their lines in your head as well and see their interaction. But a lot of times, like you said, it's so efficient with what it's able to do and so fast. Yeah. And a lot of people tap out for Ristic, Mystic, stuff like that so early, and you get Ob out turn 1 or 2. It's just like,
And you can actually pressure life totals as a backup just because, which is
hilarious. Ob is a burn deck, secretly. Yeah. Like, Ob is secretly a burn deck. It's amazing. I kill people with just Edric Parasite triggers all the time. One of my favorite wins of all time was when my Obnixilis was out of timed, and my Breach was in the grave, my Yogg-Sothoth was in the grave, my Praetor's Grasp and Reanimate were all in the grave or exiled. I had no access to anything. I had probably 30 cards left in my library. And I was able to assemble a line with Dockside Cloudstone Magda, where I got my Citadel, I made my Infinite Treasures, I got my Sensei's Top, but then I just played a Kessig Flame Breather that does 1 damage whenever I cast it on a creature spell. I Twin Flamed my Kessig Flame Breather, and then I cast Sensei's Top off the top like 19 times to do 38 damage to everybody.
wow.
And that was all I did to win the game. I just cast Sensei's Top a bunch of times, and it was like, y'all dead. We a burn deck.
The most backup line that just still works.
No, the most backup line I've come up with recently was when I needed to win through One Ring Protection, which I normally do by looping Citadel with Breach when I have Infinite Treasures. But the Dockside count was only 1. So I wasn't able to loop Dockside. So for the first time ever, I had to come up with a line where I played a Dockside, made 1 treasure, and then was able to assemble Saw and Half Dualcaster to make infinite copies of Dockside that each made 1 treasure to make infinite treasures, and then start looping my Citadel.
That's nice. God.
I was pretty proud of that one.
I will say, like, playing against, like, as a Dardu player, I would much rather see a Blue Farm player than an Obnixilis player.
Really?
I am terrified of Obnixilis because they always look at me and go, well, you're on Adnaz, punch you for an 11 on turn 3? Like,
yeah.
Ow?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I guess I'm out of the game now. Like, you can't do this. So
your deck doesn't even give a shit about Nas, bro. You're fucking on Dargo combos.
I mean, but a lot of that setup, both Citadel, Adnaz, actually just cut Necropotence, but like,
why?
Oh.
So, Necro, in most cases, the best it is when you could go, you know, a Final Fortune or a Born Upon the Wind, right? In most cases, I have one of those cards, just one, access to, and I throw a Necro out. It's everyone's on high alert. Everyone's like, he's gonna draw a lot, punch him down, and everything he does is ready to go for a win. So all it does is get people scared of me, and it's 3 black pips. I could do something better with that, you know?
I don't know. Every time I resolve a Necro Ob, I win the game. Like,
a Necro Ob?
Whenever a Necro Potent's an Ob, which we're the same. Like, I only have Final Fortune, but I win the game every time.
I mean, yeah.
It does well. It's not something it's not a deck, I will agree, it's not normally a deck I want to go, like, land Dark Red Necro, right? It's not built like Rogsai, where I can do the Born Upon a Wind, storm off with so many mana rocks, so I don't have to worry as much about mana production. That for sure is true. If I just do, like, a Dark Red Necro, I'm just drawing 7. But, like, the card velocity in a deck that's as proactively capable of winning the game, in a deck like Obnixilis or Mardu Dargo, like, we can utilize those cards so efficiently to win the game.
Yeah, I just have found that Chthonian Nightmare has been doing more for me than Necro has.
That's fair.
Chthonian Nightmare is... love it.
What are your outlets for Chthonian in Dardu?
Rakdos, the Muscle, Magda, Professional Facebreaker, and...
Do you play Mayhem?
And Mayhem Devil.
Mayhem Devil, okay.
Yeah, no,
Rakdos the Muscle has been good for you guys.
Oh, that card. If it had some other card in the 99 that I could justify it with playing as a commander, I'd run it as commander. It's so fun. It's so fun.
I mean, have you?
Dargo.
I mean, it is a commander deck. Like, it does exist.
It does, but the best card with it is literally what you want in the command zone. Anyways, right? So,
Which is Dargo.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Dargo's very good with it. At the same time, though, it is a deck that when I've looked at Rakdos and Muscle list, it's just full of so many cards that are bad card quality without Rakdos.
Yeah.
Which is something I try and avoid, and that's why I like trimmed down the Nadu synergies and Nadu a little bit to just try and play some in control as well. Like, I don't want my deck to just be a bunch of garbage without my commander. I want it to be a functional pile of cards.
Big shout out.
how have you been feeling about that? Like that push to that direction, that non-commander centric.
Oh, that's where I have always stood. Like my decks are very secretly not commander centric at all, even when people think they're commander centric. Like Obnixilis doesn't care about Obnixilis at all. Kinnan doesn't actually care about Kinnan at all. Talion doesn't care about Talion at all. Nadu is the most commander-centric of any deck that I have built right now. And even the way I built Nadu, again, it's not really focusing on Nadu until it wants to make that final push or like have this incredible value turn. But in the mid game, I'm just trying to do the Rhystic Study, One Ring, Mystic Remora, semi-control bullshit, which I like and is my comfort zone. And it's been working super, super well. I'm a big believer that it is a better strategy in cEDH to have your commanders be not the gas that gets your engine started, but the nitrous that lets them go full speed.
Ain't got sure. There it is.
Ingot Chewer is gas.
Russian Lauren
Rakdos
foil.
MVP.
Wait, is that a Russian
Yeah.
foil Lorwyn
Yes.
Ingot Chewer?
Yo, how much?
Committed.
How much?
It was like $50.
This is very nice.
What? I'm sorry, what?
Magda's foiled, okay? Magda's foiled.
You paid $50 for an Ingot Chewer?
Yeah?
The commitment.
My guy, you work at Trader Joe's. That was.
You're gonna see what I get this week. Oh, Max, you haven't seen what I bought this week.
No, I haven't seen what you bought this
It
week.
doesn't come in yet. This week.
Okay, I'll see it. You were talking to me on the car ride home last week about taking apart Magda. Why are you spending $50 on
No,
an
I
Ingot
bought
Chewer?
that. I bought that a few months ago.
Okay.
I've had that.
No.
Snaz got me on this. Shout out Snazerific.
Snazerific, I invited him to be on the squad episode as well. He's our other mod on the Discord. We love Snaz in these parts. LJ, what are you cooking lately? What's new with Edric? You always adding shit to that deck.
Shifting Woodlands has been gas.
Has it?
Yeah.
You get Delirium?
Yeah. I have to send you my list, man. It's pretty cooked.
Which way cooked?
Like, almost burnt, but we're liking it. Like,
It's a little crunch to it. Okay.
yeah,
No big deal.
it's
I mean,
flavor.
have you guys ever looked at LJ's list?
I've
I have,
played against it
a while
it's
ago.
a banger.
I have
It's-
also played against it.
Fucking wild. When you're looking at it, it looks like a pile of cards that you don't understand how it wins. But if you are someone who consistently plays Simic, you're just like, oh, I kind of know how to use these cards. And then it was at the Invitational. We were just passing around LJ's Edric deck to all of the people that play Simic, me and Ian and such. And like the deck went undefeated like the entire fucking night. It just cooked everybody. Like it absolutely cooked everybody.
Yeah, he definitely did better than me in my own deck, and I was like, man, this is great.
I knew.
I remember I mana drained an uncounterable Atraxa just to get the 7 mana. And they told me I was dumb, and I said, LOL, watch this. Untapped, played a One Ring and overloaded a Cycrypt, and then passed the turn. That was-
Bro! Holy.
I mean, you can have your Atraxa back. I don't care.
Right.
I've never heard of this card since. The only person I've ever seen play Shigeki, and I was like, what?
Yo, okay, you should cut the
yeah,
Shigeki,
what?
bro. You should cut the Shigeki. That's gone, right?
It's gone now.
Yeah.
Hold up.
That I'm like, what? People play this?
Okay, Shigeki is a regrowth effect. It's a channel regrowth from Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. You can play it as a 2-cost creature that you can like tap on your following turn to bring it back to your hand and look at the top 4 cards of your library. Put
I don't think I've
land.
ever done that ever.
Yeah, but you can channel it. It's like double X in green or something like that to get back X cards from your graveyard instant speed.
And if I remember right, it was just getting back like Time Warp and other like extra turn stuff.
Oh yeah, that shit was lit. Yeah, it was great.
Okay,
Wait,
so
double X and 2 green to do that though?
Double X and 1
Yeah.
green, I think.
Time Warp is that's 11 mana.
Your deck
We're
is
Simic deck. What's 11 mana?
That's fair.
That was 11 mana falls out of my pocket when I sneeze if I'm playing Simic, bro. Like,
Yeah, and usually the play pattern is like after I casted like 2 or 3 turn spells. Once I show you Shigeki, get all of them back. You probably just everybody is scooped. I don't think no one has told me yet, bro. Keep going.
You're
you got it. Yeah.
okay. I haven't looked in a while, but you're on Null Rod. You're on some no.
I don't know.
This is
I don't know
a
what
list.
list. Yeah.
I don't know what you're looking at,
Human
bro.
allergy medicine.
Oh, that's the that's a database
The old
list.
list. Oh,
That's
no.
the database list. We don't. No, that's not the
We'll
list.
talk about that.
we will put Edric's list, LJ's Edric list in the
Edric's.
description below.
I'll send it to you, Pigeon. This shit.
I found it now.
Yeah, okay.
So you're on Nadu.
Yeah, shit's lit, bro.
You're on Dramatic Reversal Lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a ritual, bro.
Do you
It's a
not like
ritual.
winning the game?
Yeah.
No, not that. You're on 22 lands,
Okay,
I'm
that's
sorry.
a little overcooked. What?
and one of them's Hedge Maze.
Banger.
Well, that's shifting Woodlands synergy, so you can surveil a card to the graveyard, you know. And it's a forest. You know, you can't have
Shit.
2 tap lands.
I don't think Shifty Woodlands is in that list right now. I'm
You have-
testing it.
You have 3 colorless lands, and one of them's Alchemist Refuge.
Well, bro, Alchemist Refuge is fucking lit.
Oh my god.
Do you like it more than Emergent Zone?
I play both. No, this
Yeah,
deck
yeah,
wins
that's what
on
you're
other people's turns more than it wins on my turn. I don't win on my turn. I win on your turn.
This is cooked. It looks good, and then I get to the artifact and below section.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of artifacts. Quite a bit.
Bro.
Okay, send me this fucking list.
I got you.
22 lands, Alchemist Refuge, and all are.
I'm
Here, I'll
telling
send
you,
it to the group chat. Here.
Shit's lit, bro.
Let's take a look at this.
Let's take a look at this fucking Edric list.
By the way, on Get Pro,
Banger.
Why?
Why not?
Displace your kin lines.
You have more
Okay.
artifacts than lands?
yes,
Of course. Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah. Lands
and
suck,
2 of them
bro.
are the keys. And 3
I mean,
is 3 keys in
honestly,
your deck.
this
You have to
shit,
move them.
this shit's cooking, bro.
There's Manifold, Moonsilver, Voltaic.
What
Yeah.
the fuck is
Arcturus
this?
Charm, huh?
I've actually, I don't
Smic
know. Are you
Serenade.
on? Are you on Arcturus Charm in your Kinnan list?
No.
The card I've actually really enjoyed Arcturus Charm. Like the triple green is kind of rough, but like when it's online, it's fucking amazing.
Hydroblast.
He's on. Wait, you're on Hydroblast? Get the fuck out.
Oh yeah, I swear to God, bro. I used to be on blue. I used to be on blue as well.
You used to be on both.
Oh yeah, bro. Bro, I played 22 artifacts. I gotta kill Dockside. That's honestly the only thing I lose to, just fucking Dockside. I don't give a fuck about it, much else.
So yeah, I mean, my whole philosophy with Kinnan, where I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, Kinnan makes a lot of mana, so we can afford to play really expensive cards like Arcturus Charm," but I've built it in a way that it does care about mana efficiency and being
Gotcha.
really, really low CMC in this interaction package.
No,
Because then I can just hold up so much of it, which is really, really nice.
yeah, I just wanted density of tutors, so
Mhm.
it was fine. And like tuning for lands has been like very key these days. Like I think Crop Rod has become my favorite card.
Yeah, for
So
good
far.
reason.
Oh, I mean,
22 lands.
I mean, you should be on fucking LQR, bro, for the.
Oh
for the
wait, yeah.
effect.
is that actually gas?
Yes.
It's so
Yeah,
it's a board wipe.
It's a board wipe.
It's also just hexproof and reach and untaps the creature, which is just
so you're
really
not
good for
gonna
an
become
uncounterable 1-man.
Interactable with Banger.
You can only get counterbalanced. Good luck.
Fuck man, alright. I'll find the LQR I have lying around.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna go to the land. What-
Wait, do you actually?
what-
Do you have 7th edition foil Llanowar?
Yeah, NPCs. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. Just making sure.
His deck's got a lot of views. He's got to make the deck look pretty.
Yeah,
That's fair. I mean, I respect that.
I don't know what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
No, I
This
don't.
deck is fucking gas.
I like don't own real cards.
That's fair.
Why would you?
What's still saying? Like, you don't look good while you win. Did you really win?
That's exactly. You see, Kellen understands.
I get it, man.
Mm-hmm.
I will say
Sick.
I've also been cooking with Malcolm Bruce lately a little bit.
I did a coaching second for Malcolm Bruce like a
Really?
fucking like 3 months ago, where I just convinced him to play Malcolm Kedis instead.
What?
But what
What is
what is-
what's Malcolm Bruce doing?
Yeah.
What's the white doing in your deck?
Delny, silence effects.
Yeah.
I miss silence effects more than anything else than any color buy. Just in general, I think it's just a lot safer. It also. Let's see what else we're doing. Just-
Yeah, but every color has a silence effect. You just play Wandering Archaic.
I mean,
It's
don't take me
silence
with a good
effects.
Can I say?
But
Does the
you
job.
You also get to run Pyre of Heroes, which is I love. Then,
Fire Heroes is cool.
Unsettled Mariner.
I have no idea what that is.
Do you consider that you might be overcooking just a tad?
No.
Just a
Hear me.
little bit?
Hear me out. It's a changeling for a 2-drop, and it gives everything Ward 1, including yourself.
Yep.
You as a player get.
So it's worded as, it was before Ward was an ability. I know all of these cards for the record because one of my favorite casual decks is Tribal. I have Ur-Dragon Tribal. So yeah, Unsettled Mariner, it's from the OG Modern Horizons set, and it's whenever you become the target, whenever you or a permanent you control, any permanent you control, becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, counter that ability unless they pay 1. It is OG Ward.
But everything has it.
But it's every permanent and yourself, yes. Oh, Unsettled Manor is gas in casual. I don't think you want that shit in CDH.
Right
bro.
here, baby. Brain freeze. Pay the 1.
Pay the one.
One.
Pay the one.
What one?
That's fucking ridiculous. So you just Veil of Summer.
Oh, I will say, as a casual player, I really liked Wandering Archaic. I didn't play casual for very long. That card is really, really, really good against players who play like 9-drop sorceries that just say you win the game. You want to pay 2 more?
Yeah. No, I mean, Wandering Cake is it's one of those CDH cards that is still fucking slept on. Like, there are so many decks that should be running a Wandering Archaic, and they just don't.
Totally agree.
It's all colorless mana. It's not that hard to get out. It's fucking absolutely busted as a stacks piece. Like, congratulations, your Demonic Tutor is 4 mana now. Would you still like to try and win the game? You know?
Yeah.
It makes it very difficult to interact, and most importantly, it puts everyone on a team against each other. Where, someone's trying to win the game, you can't beat anyone's interaction now. It's too difficult. Your interaction costs too much, or I get to copy it, and everyone else's interaction is now double. If I want the game to go to a draw, I am tutoring a Wandering Archaic and a Perplexing Chimera, and I'm passing. Like...
But no, I used to run it in Dargo Thrasios, and I loved it there. I know it's not in a lot of people's lists right now, but like
I did for a long time. I ran it.
not anymore though.
Not anymore. It ended up being one of those things where it's like I don't want to probably commit 5 mana instead of just winning the game. If I'm already not running defense grid, my point was just I could probably just jam and win with that mana, most likely.
What about Dosen?
I've tried it for a while. I've been thinking about it still. I just, once again, now that there's lots of cool things that I can finally work with, like the Woodlands and even, we've even talked about playing 6 and considering it. I just need to jam some things. Oh, the Flare as well, the blue Flare. I just don't have spots. The deck is just filled up on spots. It's hard to really pick and choose what. I also now want to throw crop rotation possibly. What am I cutting?
Yeah, the deck is tight. I've been impressed. I've always kind of been a Dosen hater, and the first deck I've ever put Dosen into was Nadu, where my thought was it is my way to push through a finishing turn while I'm playing Simic Control to guarantee my value engines to resolve. And so far it's been amazing because I'm doing the Simic value, I get Nadu down, and then when I untap on my turn with a bunch of counter magic in hand because I played Nadu, passed the turn, where I told them very clearly as I played Nadu, I'm like, I'm not winning right now, I'm passing a turn. So they let it resolve and they let it do its thing. And then I fire off a Sea King's Blessing on the end step to get a bunch of cards. I hit a few pieces of counter magic, and then I untap and I cast Dosen, and I can protect it with all of that counter magic, and then once Dosen resolves, I'm good to go to the races with Nadu shit. And it's been a fantastic play pattern. Of my 5-0 run on Saturday, Dosen single-handedly won me 3 games.
Yeah. He's very good. I still think I need to mess with the fixing of like how I'm going to work it because my thought process actually was never casting Dosen himself. It's neoforming Thrasios into it instead of neoforming Dargo at that point. So there's two things that have to work for it, which I never was able to get with that going on. I always just had to either drew it or Neoform was just used for Dargo. So the question really is, number one, do I always need Neoform for Dargo, because that's just the easiest way to win? Number two, like, can I convince people that I'm actually just going for a value 3-drop? Because I mean, for what it was for me was that, you know, the people who I do play with, you guys definitely aren't going to be fooled by it.
No.
Everybody wants to put out the possibility of the worst possibility, and that probably is just a silence effect because of that. And the last part,
It's
which
so
is like
strong.
a little one in the back of your head, is what if somebody casts a silence in response?
Yeah, I mean, it's also, if you're playing Dargo Thrasios and you Neoform Thrasios, you run so few 3-drops that there's not a reasonable argument for something else you could be getting. Like, normally Spellseeker is getting the Neoform, and I'm not sure if you play a single other 3-drop.
I play 4 of
Bergie,
them.
E-Witness,
Imperial
Spellseeker.
Recruiter, massive.
Imperial Recruiter.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. So you're Imperial Recruiting into Dockside, you're E-Witting into something in the graveyard. You could argue something like that. I could see that.
Right.
Yeah,
But
just
the
lie to
worst
him.
on that.
Tell you you're getting Imperial.
Oh, and Eternal
Trust.
Yeah, 4-minute
Trust.
upside.
Yeah, trust.
Hey, hear me out. It's won me so many more games than people think, because just getting either Displacer Kid or Dockside wins me the game.
There you go.
No, it does work. I do appreciate, LJ, when I first played against you, you told me very clearly not to trust you, and I said thank you for the heads up.
That's a lot.
Yeah, you were like, I will lie
Very
to you, I don't
first
care.
game- My very first game I ever joined Chaos, I think, was against LJ, and I bet I could find the log of
Oh
me
my.
playing LJ, and it was scary. I was like, what is this deck? I'd like looked into cEDH, I'm like, I've never heard of this, and then I'm pretty sure you cooked me. It was,
So I
hilarious.
played against LJ exactly one time in a tournament where it was Treasure Series 3. It was my second tournament ever, my first top 4. It was round 2. I was against LJ on Edric. I was against a guy on the Jund Dragon from like Dominaria who was playing weird Jund stacks land destruction.
Oh, I remember that shit.
And I think it was
Oh my
Tivit
God.
as the last deck or something. And we ended up missing an interaction on my turn when I was going for the win. There was a Rule of Law effect out. There was a bunch of fucking bullshit going on. I had the win in hand with Transmute Artifact and like a Mirage Mirror in the battlefield. Like I had it deterministically. And I started activating Kinnan. And my first Kinnan activation, where I was mainly looking for protection, hit me Nyx Bloom Ancient. And I proceeded to go off for a bunch of Kinnan activations with a bunch of mana. And after I'd done like 4 Kinnan activations and a bunch of cards been moved around and changed, a judge comes in because we were the stream game, and we had all missed the interaction between Nyx Bloom Ancient and the fucking Damping Sphere on Jund Stax' board, which makes all of my lands just tap for a single colorless. And what I did at the time, because I am a very moral human being, I just offered the draw. Even though I had the Transmute Artifact in hand, I offered the draw. Which, at this point, I regret how I handled that. What I should have done was reveal my Transmute Artifact and say, any one of you show me one piece of interaction. Because the judge ruling was too many things had moved and they couldn't roll it back. So I got to keep all my creatures. That was why I felt bad about it. Because the judge ruled play from this point. And I'd already made all the mana with the lands, done everything. So it was like, it was not a fair game state. So I felt bad about it. But what I should have done was reveal Transmute, say, I've had this in hand this entire time. Show me one piece of interaction for this and we draw. Is how I would handle that now. Because none of the other stuff I did actually mattered from the way I could have won the game. But
Yeah,
in
you
that
cooked
moment,
us.
yeah,
cooked
in that
us,
moment,
man.
I just offered the draw and they all snap accepted it, and we quad,
Yeah, we did.
quad shook hands.
Fucking right. You're fucking right, we did.
Yeah. Hey, it worked out. That was my first ever top 4, bro. It worked out in the end. That was a good one.
Shit, bro.
You know.
Think we're 1-1-1 now?
Yeah, you beat me at the Invitational after I didn't think you were on fucking Basalt, so I didn't Chain of Vapor my Tezzeret that he'd commandeered. Because in my brain I was like, oh, you're just gonna get a 1 ring. Like, I didn't think he played Basalt. And he had cloned my Kinnan. So it's not even like he had a Kinnan, I think. So I was just like, okay, and then motherfucker untaps and just gets Basalt, and then his hand is Finale and Hullbreaker. I'm like, motherfucker.
Listen, this dude is the dude who has it. LJ, you're the dude who just has it most of the time.
It's like-
Oh, it's hilarious.
That was so right because I had win in hand so deterministically. If I just
Of course
if I
you
just
did.
chain away the Tezzeret. Oh,
Was he playing Rift? I was trying to find it. Was he playing Rift Liberated Primeval?
I don't know. What the fuck is
Probably
that?
the one that's a Chaos Warp. I can't remember.
Yes, Vivictus.
Yeah, it is that one. Oh no,
Yeah.
Vivictus.
Oh okay.
I think I know who that is. That's probably Bo, honestly.
It is Bo. It was Bo. 100%. It was Bo. 100%, dude.
I've ever seen play that silly deck, dude.
That shit was gas, dude. He did mass land destruction.
Deck, it's a mass destruction deck, but it's a Hermit Druid deck.
That deck was crazy. That was one of the weirdest pods I've ever been thrown into in my life. I was just like, what the fuck is this, dude? No, it was a good time.
Yeah, I was fucking plastered that game. I remember. I was like, bro, you said let's draw, and I was like, thank God. Oh my God.
No, that game was fun as fuck, though. That game was fun as fuck.
It was cursed.
Awesome. We've gone for about an hour and a half here. I think let's wrap this fucker up. All right. One last time. Let's go around one by one. Everyone, introduce yourself. Talk about who you are in the Magic world. What decks you play primarily, and then let's cut it out of here.
My name's Kellen. I go by HebrewHercules on top deck. I play Dardu or Dargo Timna and Dargo Thrasios mostly.
You played Kinnan for a minute.
Pigeon. I was a very, very long time Magda pilot. Still love her, but moving off. Looking more into like definitely Nadu, which I built, and then also probably Kinnan. You can find me everywhere. I'm on a lot of Discords.
Name's LJ. I play Edric mainly. I play Rockside now. Shit's gas. You can find me LJ everywhere. I think every platform I'm on. It's LJ for me. So.
My name is Sean Barmapub, also known as Manilamidget. Manila_midget on Discord, and on Twitter, you know it, Max. MongoDongo69.
It is. That is his actual Twitter handle. Is HumongoNongo69.
It is. You can always hit me up on anywhere. Coaching, if anybody is ever interested in that. If you want to learn how to jam and
Yeah,
Good guarantee.
I might be. If you want to learn to control, do coach with me. If you want to learn how to just fucking send it and be the most base motherfucker in the community, go with Sean. That's not who I am. And thank you guys so much for listening. My name is Max Sternberg, also known as Wounded Satellite. I also offer cEDH coaching. If that's something you're interested in, feel free to find me on Discord or on Twitter, both as Wounded Satellite. Thank you so much for listening to A Colors or Crutch. If you enjoyed this, please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to support the channel even more, there's going to be a link into our Patreon description below. All kinds of fun tiers to choose from. And if you want to join the conversation outside of YouTube, feel free to join our Discord. A link to that also in the description below. Thank you guys so much for helping fill in for my wonderful father today. I appreciate all of you so much, and I hope to see you guys all around and talk to you more next time.
See you later.
thank you for having me.
Bye.